Hey, what's up everybody? It's the People's Crypto. I'm back again with another video. In this video, I'm going to be discussing Fidelity's new Bitcoin fund, Germany giving out universal basic income to their citizens, and also, if you're here in the States at least, you'll need at least $8 million to retire. Please keep in mind that this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research and please seek out a financial advisor before making any investments. Alright, so let's start off with the first article. It's on Forbes.com. It's titled Fidelity's President Files for New Bitcoin Fund. It goes on to say Fidelity's President and Director of Digital Funds, Peter Gerber, today filed paperwork with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, informing the regulator of a new fund dedicated to Bitcoin, the previously unknown Wise Origin Bitcoin Index Fund. 1. LP was incorporated this year and is being run from the same Boston headquarters where the investing giant manages $8.3 trillion in customer funds. The earlier documentation provides little in the way of details about the fund and shows 0 investors have currently participated. We do know the minimum investment to join the pooled investment fund is $100,000. indicating this is likely only for institutional and accredited investors. However, to give an idea of how Fidelity might eventually use the newly revealed fund, the firm recently published the results of a survey of 800 institutional investors from the US, Europe, finding that 36% of respondents were already invested in digital assets, while 60% said digital assets had a place in their portfolio. This is the latest development at Fidelity, showing the seriousness with which it is taking Bitcoin as an investable asset. A year after becoming one of the earliest institutional supporters of Bitcoin in 2017, when Fidelity's CEO Abigail Johnson publicly said she'd been mining the asset, the company formalized its interests with the launch of Fidelity Digital Assets. The following year, in 2019, the New York Department of Financial Services granted Fidelity a so-called BIT license, allowing it to run a variety of crypto businesses. All right, so this is exactly what I've been talking about for years. People have been bashing it, especially on Wall Street. Fidelity being the custodial giant that holds the majority of people's stocks, bonds, IRAs, retirement accounts, etc., etc. They're deep into Wall Street. They're one of the biggest brokerage firms in all of Wall Street. So it's just crazy that, now they're all of a sudden getting into Bitcoin. However, it'll be for institutional and accredited investors. Right now, we're still completely early. You can definitely scoop up some Bitcoin via Cash App, Coinbase, Binance, and many other crypto exchanges, even Kraken and Gemini Exchange. So you can still get in. People are not necessarily paying attention. People are more concerned with the stock market and buying Apple stock and all of these different other companies like Tesla. They're not paying attention at all to Bitcoin. So you have a tremendous opportunity to get in this space while you still can and still dollar cost average into getting a ton of Bitcoin if you can. It's insane how all of this is transpiring and really no one is paying attention. Given that we have a public health crisis, there's racial tensions in the States, people are not working, there's a food crisis, we have hurricanes now coming in certain places. Like it's just insane that all of this is happening and no one's really paying attention to their financial future, which is understandable. It's hard to kind of like pay attention to all of these things at once, but this is what I've been talking about for quite some time now. They are in the space. They are getting in. They are accumulating a ton of Bitcoin. We don't know how much is left. If you go to the cryptocurrencyspace.com, you can see that the circulating supply is like 18 million. It says the same thing on CoinGecko. It says the same thing on CoinMarketCap. It says pretty much there's 18 million circulating in supply. I don't believe that that is accurate. I think there's a lot less Bitcoin out there because now you have restaurants coming out saying that they're putting cash reserves in Bitcoin, and then you have tech companies saying that they're putting cash reserves in Bitcoin now. Granted, the price can fluctuate. However, this is extremely important. There's probably not that much Bitcoin left. So if you haven't begun dollar cost averaging in Bitcoin, this is not financial advice. You might want to consider doing that. So just pay very close attention to what's going on in this space because it is consistently being ignored. And I've noticed that they don't necessarily talk about this on CNBC or any other news platforms. It's more so that the real news is being put in print or it's being put online on these various websites. Now, Forbes is not for your typical investor or your typical person that works 9 to 5. Forbes is specifically for the elites or the people who have a very high net worth, who have the disposable incomes, regardless of what's happening now, to put and probably get maybe 100 Bitcoin, 200 Bitcoin, 300 Bitcoin, so on and so forth. These people have the disposable income to easily buy a ton of Bitcoin all at once in just one setting. So just be very mindful of that and please pay attention. The next story I wanted to go to is Germany. So Germany just got universal basic income and nobody noticed. This is another story where these things are happening around the world. So much is going on. People are being distracted, or, you may have your own personal situation where it's crazy. So it's understandable that you're not paying attention to what's going on. But I think this is extremely bad news because, yes, people will be getting UBI, universal basic income. However, the government now has control over what you can do and what you can't do. If you speak out against the government, then there's a pretty good chance that you can get cut off from receiving this UBI. If you say anything on Twitter, or if you protest, or if you do anything that they don't approve of, this puts you liable to getting cut off and is extremely dangerous. There was some episode on Black Mirror, not necessarily similar to this whole UBI concept, but it basically was an episode where a young lady, there was a social credit system. There it is. There's a social credit system, and this young lady, I think she rubbed someone the wrong way, and it ruined her social credit score. Now, what happened is she got blackballed from everything. She couldn't get an apartment. She couldn't get food. She couldn't even get a cab. So this is very similar. If you get blackballed by the government, they can easily untap and shut you off from the system. This is why crypto comes in handy. No one could really shut you out of Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin or Monero or any of those other cryptocurrencies. It is completely separate. It's decentralized. No one's in control. You hold your keys. You own your crypto. The same could be said for gold and silver. However, it's just hard to move gold and silver from one location to the next. However, I still recommend, and I would suggest that maybe you look into getting those as well. As long as you're outside of your government's fiat, you should be fine. Granted, cryptocurrencies are extremely speculative and very risky. Gold and silver is somewhat more like safe bets. However, I do believe cryptocurrencies will completely outperform gold and silver, and they already have been doing that, more specifically Bitcoin. And let's take a look at the next story. And that is this. The new savings target for a modest retirement is $8 million. Like, seriously, they keep moving the goalposts further and further and further out. It's a complete joke at this point. I'm going to just tell you now, if you're not aware of this, retirement doesn't exist anymore. It's not going to. If you know someone who's retired and they're living off their fiat, great for them. But if you're a millennial or you're a little bit older, your pensions, your 401ks, your IRAs, all of those different vehicles will probably not be there for you in the future. I know it sounds shocking to say, but you really need to look into it. And this is why I suggest or I would tell people, look into your fiat currencies, look at it historically, look at inflation, look at hyperinflation, and look at what's going on now. There's a lot of turmoil and chaos, especially with the quantitative easing of basically all the central banks' fiats. So you really need to pay attention to these times now. I know it's a little difficult with all of these crazy things that's going on, but seriously, $8 million to retire? I don't even have anything close to that. That doesn't make any type of sense at all. So you just really need to pay attention to what they're doing. You know, I'm going to include the links to all of these articles, but yeah, you need $8 million to retire. So and that's just to retire comfortably. So this is just showing you that the system is broken. You know, you would have to play the lotto or something to win the $8 million, or it just doesn't make sense. And playing the lotto is gambling, so please don't do that. But this is just another important reason why you need to get your weight up, possibly get gold and silver, and look into cryptocurrencies, more specifically Bitcoin, dollar cost average. You need to exit the system. I don't know how many times I need to say that, but figure out a way to exit the system. You can get gold, you can get silver, you can get Bitcoin, you can get Litecoin, you can get Ethereum, you can get Monero, you can get a bunch of different cryptocurrencies. Obviously, do your own research, but you seriously need to consider diversifying outside of this system. Stocks are completely overvalued. Their fundamentals make absolutely no sense right now. Pension plans in the past have failed. Look into that as well, because there's been so many corporations that had pensions and they bought out their employees and they got a lot less than what they were supposed to get because maybe the company decided to go overseas and outsource certain jobs or outsource manufacturing or a bunch of different things. But nothing is particularly guaranteed, and the dollar and all the other fiat currencies are not guaranteed to keep their value. They actually lose value because of quantitative easing. They print this stuff out of thin air. And if you think UBI is a good thing, it is really not, because you're just allowing the government to control you even further. So you want to take back your sovereignty, and you want to make sure that you are in control of your life and you call the shots. You don't want anyone to dictate what you can do and what you cannot do. And if you don't do what they say, they can impose, I guess you could say, sanctions on you. They can take away your freedoms. They can do whatever they want to you. You're at their mercy. They could say, hey, you need to take this vaccine, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. You don't want to put yourself in that predicament. You want to be able to move freely and have your freedom. So the $8 million for retirement is just insane. And that's just here in the States. So I could only imagine in any other country, it's probably a lot higher. Maybe it might be a lot lower, but it varies. But this is why you seriously need to pay attention to what's going on, because they're dropping hints that basically the currency is trash. The dollar, all of the other fiats are trash. You need $8 million to retire. So think about this. If you're married, or if you have children, or if you have grandchildren, or if you have a very big family, you think that $8 million is going to cut it? Absolutely not. Especially also the cost of living consistently goes up year over year. Like, this is ridiculous. They're just, at this point, they're just making a mockery of the whole entire system. And seriously, no one has a job unless you're a CEO somewhere. It just doesn't make any sense. But let's take a look at the cryptocurrency prices. Right now we have Bitcoin. It is at $11,504.82. Ethereum is at $389.13. XRP is 28 cents. Tether is $1. Polkadot, which has moved all the way up to the 5th slot, is now $6.20. Chainlink is $15.17. Bitcoin Cash is $276.41. Litecoin is $58.46. Bitcoin SV is $193.26. Binance Coin is $22.33. Cardano is 12 cents. EOS is $3.13. Tezos is $3.39. And Stellar is 9 cents. We have Cosmos at $7.78. Tron is at 2 cents. Monero's at 89.19. And Leo's at 127. Neo is at $17.50. And USD coin is $1 as always. And that is going to wrap it up for the top 20 coins. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're listening to this video on YouTube. If you're listening on LBRY, please remember to leave a tip if you want, or you can definitely share the video. You can also follow me on Twitter, and you can also, I would highly suggest, if you want, you can sign up for the Brave browser, which you can actually earn cryptocurrency. You can earn basic attention token, which I think is around 35 or 40 cents right now. Absolutely free, just by using the browser. So you get compensated for using that particular browser, which is excellent. And it's actually just like Google Chrome and Internet Explorer and Firefox, but it's absolutely amazing. So think about it. You'll be getting compensated for browsing online. You wouldn't get that opportunity with any of those other browsers that I mentioned. I'm going to leave the link in the description below. That is going to wrap it up for this video, and I will see you guys later.